Game, a show where we talk about our list of movie blind spots. My name is Andy.
And I'm Adam.
And on Monday's episode, we tackled I probably can't say it either. Mamoru Hosoda movie called Bell. And Adam decided to pair that with another Hosoda movie. So he will tell you about what Hosoda movie he decided to pair it with.
Right. A student tries to fix a problem he accidentally causes in Oz, a digital world, while pretending to be the fiance of a friend of hers on her grandmother's 90th birthday in Summer Wars.
ねえ、バイトしない？
今バイト中ですけど。
バイト？
オズのシステムの保守点検ですよ。
へえ、オズのすごい。
いやいや、末端の末端の末端だから楽ちんですよ。
そっか、バイト中か、誰かいないかな？他にバイトしてくれる人。
夏希先輩、僕でよければ。
本当？
おい、こっちどうすんだよ。
すいません、やっぱ無理です。
ダメか。バイトといっても私と一緒に田舎に旅行してくれるだけなんだけどな。
はい、俺やります。
え、何それ？じゃあ僕もはい。
Summer Wars is written and directed by Mamoru Hosoda, and also it's written by Toyoko Odorua, I think. Or that's not even close. Sorry, we're terrible. I'm even worse than he is at pronunciation. This week we're doing a bunch of Hosoda movies. So we did, and again, Hosoda. If you didn't watch Monday's episode, he directed The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Summer Wars, Wolf Children, The Boy and the Beast, and Belle. So that we're following up Belle with this movie that I heard compared to Belle, and after watching this movie, I realized why it was, because they both feature extensively a virtual world.
Absolutely.
In Belle, it was you, and here in Summer Wars, it's Oz. They like to play on those literary references and all that kind of stuff with it. It's both a movie that we haven't seen before, but I'm going to toss it over to you. You didn't know much about Summer Wars going into it, but
No.
What'd you think about Summer Wars, and how does it compare to Belle in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, just like Belle, I didn't know anything about Summer. I knew even less about Summer Wars, if that's possible, which I guess it is, because I had not seen, the Steelbook cover or the Blu-ray cover or anything like that. So I'm not familiar with any of Hosoda's movies. I just heard when Belle came out because it kind of made a big splash when it hit the home media market here in the States. So Summer Wars, once again, going into it blind. And I was thinking, I think this is the third pair of anime movies that we've done, because we did Ninja Scroll and Sword of the Stranger.
Yep, which you liked.
We did Nazca the Valley of the Wind.
Yes.
And what was the second one? Castle in the Sky?
Was it Castle in the Sky?
It wasn't Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, I think it was Castle in the Sky.
Yeah, so I like Ninja Scroll, but I really liked Sword of the Stranger. I didn't really like Nazca the Valley of the Wind, but I did like Castle in the Sky.
Yeah.
I didn't like Belle, but I actually really liked Summer Wars.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I was a fan of this movie. I mean, I did have a few problems with it, but overall, I enjoyed it quite a bit, actually. I thought this was a really, really cool movie. I like this movie. I would say one of the chief reasons I like this movie is when he goes, so the young boy, as you said in your synopsis, the young boy goes basically off with this girl that he kind of likes, but he's basically kind of playing a role. He's pretending like he's her boyfriend or fiance for her grandmother's 90th birthday.
Yep.
And he's kind of nerdy, and he's a math geek and all this kind of stuff. But I loved the whole family aspect of the movie. They've basically got all the generations there, all the aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, nieces, whatever, all because they're there for their grandmother's 90th birthday party. It's not often that, a lot of people don't live to be 90, so they're all there to help her celebrate. And I just ate all of that stuff up, because all of the characters in this movie, they're just that. They're such characters, and they're fun. You got little kids running around playing. It's just like watching a live action movie where a big family comes together. I tend to like those kinds of movies. I like that kind of thing. It's fun to me. Parenthood or Home for the Holidays, exactly. Something like that. They gather, they eat together, they eat these big meals and stuff, and they're just kind of talking about stuff and everything. One of their relatives is a baseball player, so they get to watch him play in the championship game.
Yeah, one aunt is super, super into how he's playing. Then
But
they
it's
have a
just
cousin come in from like America that's kind of, or like an adopted
right,
uncle
yeah,
that
like an
wasn't-
adopted uncle that comes in. He's a little shady.
Yeah.
But overall, I that was the thing that I enjoyed the most about this movie. I just really like the whole kind of we're all here, and they live kind of I guess kind of out in the country in this
Yeah.
kind of pretty big place, right?
Yeah.
With a lot of land and everything. But I just really dug all the characters. I thought that made the movie that won me over.
Yeah.
Even if the rest of the movie, I had maybe some problems with a few things here and there, that completely won me over. So I really, really enjoyed the movie. I think primarily because of that. But I also did like the story. I mean, as you said, it definitely shared some similarities
Yeah.
with Belle. But I mean, this movie did come first, so I guess Belle shares some similarities with it. But you do have very much a digital world that plays. That's a huge integral part of the plot of this movie. But I like the story overall. I do feel like this movie, and I kind of said this on Monday. This movie also is kind of busy,
Yeah.
and I do feel like there's a lot going on. And once again, I don't know that everything is satisfactorily kind of resolved the way that I want it to. But I liked the whole kind of family aspect so much that I was, I guess, more forgiving of some of the stuff this go around. But before I get into like things that I would nitpick, where did you fall on Summer Wars in comparison to Belle? You were obviously more favorable on Belle than me. What about Summer Wars?
Yeah, I think like you, I think I like this better than Belle, maybe slightly better than Belle. For me, they're kind of the same kind of movie.
Yeah.
In my mind, I do like how this one kind of takes it takes a little bit of more of a left turn, like kind of how they get into it and stuff like that. Because you think like, oh, this is gonna be like about a summer romance, and all of a sudden we're like in the virtual world and things are going down and all that kind of stuff. And then
it's bizarre.
It does. And
bizarre.
And that's it's interesting like how that family kind of plays an aspect of it and all that stuff. And I like that the antagonist is like a computer virus, like what they call it, the love machine?
Yeah, it's the love machine.
Love machine.
Right. Well, that reminds me of the I love you virus. Remember the I love you virus a long time ago?
Okay.
Yeah.
It made
long time ago, kids.
It made me think of Cheech and Chong. I'm just a love machine.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
I don't. Yeah, so that's what made me think. But I like that. I like the way it's kind of rendered, and I think like you were kind of criticizing with Belle, the Lord Rabbit or whatever her happened to be like one of her cousins, like the big rabbit guy that was like fighting. After the guy's account got taken over.
Yeah.
And I like the way it looked. Like I like the way the character, like the main guy's character in Oz looked when he was taken over by Love Virus, with that weird grin and like the face, and then when he kind of started eating other characters and turned into like this kind of like deity looking thing, I thought looked really cool. Like, so I like the visual style of all that kind of stuff, and we get some action and fighting inside the virtual world. I don't know how that necessarily translates to like keyboard and mouse, and the kids like I learned how to like. His name was like Master or something. He's like, I learned like basically like martial arts, and I'm like in the virtual world, but you're like using your fingers. Like I think some of that stuff again, like we said in Belle, it's a little shaky. Doesn't really necessarily translate. I think you have to kind of leave that at the door, but it does explain like you can choose a bunch of traits to make your character. So it makes sense that this world's more.
You're not just a fish person because of your biometrics. Yeah.
It's like where you do the biometrics when you're underwater. Is that why you're
I would be insulted if they turned me into a fish man.
I think a lot of people would.
I'd be like, what the hell?
But I liked it, and I liked the family aspect of it. And I liked how like kind of small. I mean, the movie ends up being like about world destruction, but then once they kind of take back all of his accounts he's kind of taken over, he kind of really narrows it down on them. So it kind of narrows the scope back down to like kind of their story and what's going to affect them and stuff, which I thought was interesting and kind of cool. So overall, I kind of liked it. It was so weird. It was so different, but
definitely
again, it was so similar to the Belle and the computer and the virtual reality aspect of it.
Yeah.
So much that I put in my notes like, are we watching the same movie again?
Wait, did I hit play on Belle again? Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
So, but overall, I think it inched out a little bit higher for Belle than Belle for me. But I liked it too. I like I said, I ended up liking this movie so much I watched another one. So for me, I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't have time. I watched Summer Wars last night. Actually, if I had time, I probably would have watched another one because I was riding high after watching
Yeah.
Summer Wars, so I probably would have watched another
You might
Hosoda
like
movie.
The Boy
if
and the
I-
Beast. It's more dramatic, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll check it out, and Wolf Children and whatever
Yeah.
else. But no, so Summer Wars. I mean, I agree with you. The plot is really bizarre. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just no other way to describe it. And honestly, you could take away all the computer stuff, and if you just had a movie about him going to his not quite girlfriends, but
Yeah.
this girl that he likes, family's kind of estate for the weekend and pretending, and you have all these super characters, I still would probably really enjoy the movie
Yeah.
because I love that aspect the most. I do think some of the, I guess, coincidental things you could do with that. Like you mentioned, the one kid is actually the awesome fighter that's in the
Yeah.
game. I'm like, what? Wow, what are the chances of that? But then you have like the shady uncle or whatever that comes from the U.S. He created the damn thing.
Yeah,
he created the AI, and I was like, wow, this is like really big coincidence after
Yeah.
big coincidence. You don't need any of that because if you make him. Because initially, I mean, I thought he was controlling it, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, he just sold it to the U.S. government, and they use it as an experiment, and it's like Skynet. It went haywire, and so there's no real villain. It's not like they're going to unmask somebody at the end. I did like that, but you don't need him to create it. You could have it explained away because there's plenty of newscasts that tell you what's going on with the rest of the world. They could be like, oh, authorities have discovered that it's not controlled by a hacker. It's actually just a rogue virus.
Yeah.
You don't need. It's like the uncle's like, oh, I actually developed that. I was like, we don't need any of that. I also did not really like the fact that because you think it's going to be more of a kind of a romantic movie than it is, but I feel like he spends more time with the other kids and with the Kung Fu kid trying to combat this thing than he does with the girl.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
that kind of romance thing is kind of thrown out the window. But then at the end, of course, it's like, oh, they're together now. And it's like, really? They are? Because, I mean, she cries after her grandmother dies. And obviously we spoil things.
Yeah.
Because her grandmother is having her 90th birthday, but unfortunately she passes away. But she cries after that, and they kind of like hold hands, and he kind of consoles her.
Yeah.
But they don't really share many moments besides that. So the fact that they do, I mean, of course, you expect them to wind up together. But the fact that they do, I was like, really? He like barely spent any time with you.
Well, they both battle the AI, right? So he's like trying to get in there
they're
and do
connected
stuff,
that way, but
and she's like doing like gambling the card game or whatever.
yeah, koi.
Koi.
Yeah.
Which
I need to learn to play that.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't understand it.
That didn't stand out to me, but I definitely see that criticism.
Yeah, I mean, that's a minor thing. I think I was more kind of baffled at the uncle like created the AI and all that stuff. You don't need any of that. I think the movie works just fine without it. But those are small things. I mean, again, overall, I was really won over by this movie. So maybe the Wednesday anime movie is always going to be the one.
Yeah.
Even though I did like Ninja Scroll, so that was a week where I liked both of the movies.
Yeah.
But the other two times that we've done this, I didn't really like the Monday movie, but the Wednesday movie really, really won me over. So I'm very glad I watched Summer Wars. I thought it was really good,
cool.
and I like the animation. Like I feel like the animation was a little bit rougher, but I don't mean that in a bad way. Like. They had more detail. It looks less computery, and I feel like they have more detail the more prominent they are in the frame.
Yeah.
The ones kind of further in the frame didn't have maybe as much detail on their face, but I kind of like that. You know, it didn't bother me, and I'm sure that's an intentional choice. It's not like they forgot to draw a nose on this person or something like that. They made them look a certain way, with a purpose. But I liked it. I mean, again, I'm not criticizing the animation at all. I think it looks different than Belle. But that's not a bad thing. I liked it.
I like in both Belle and this one, like the sheer massiveness of the online world. Like you get to see like millions and thousands and hundreds of thousands of avatars.
When he's like his arms is like composed of all the accounts. I thought it looked really cool.
It does.
It's crazy.
And also like it reminds me a lot of the what's the famous Walt Disney thing where they have the demon over the mountain?
Fantasia
thing. Like obviously borrowed from that too a little bit. But I think I like how the virtual. I think I like the virtual world the way it's rendered in Belle a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I like both renderings of the virtual worlds. Like I think it's not something we normally see it like rendered like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe like Ready Player One kind of borrows a little bit from it, or did a little bit. But it's interesting seeing the stuff,
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
in my mind. All right, and where are the reviewers on? I was gonna say the one thing I had to add here is Hosoda basically completed like 500 pages of storyboards for the film while at Denny's, working like these 12 to 16-hour shifts. So I guess he's just like whittling away in between coffee orders and scrambled egg orders, Grand Slam breakfasts and moons over my hammies, trying to build out the storyboard for that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Interesting. Well, sometimes you do your best work at Denny's.
That's right.
I remember going there like when I was in college and doing homework and stuff, and just like drinking, like a soda, because I think I was too poor to get food, so just like ordering a soda so they wouldn't make me leave, and I would get like free refills, and I would like work on homework assignments and stuff. So
I've spent
times.
an ungodly amount of time at Denny's, so
it's good. It's a good place.
A lot of misspent youth there for sure.
A lot of memories.
Yep. All right, where are the reviewers on Summer Wars?
Yeah, so it's 78% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes and 88% audience score. Not quite as high as Bell, but I personally like it better than Bell.
Yep, me too, just by a hair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this week we focused on two movies that kind of prominently feature virtual reality, virtual worlds, and and there's a lot of movies in the past that have done the same. So we figured we'd talk about some of our favorite virtual reality movies. We did do Virtuosity and Johnny Mnemonic for the show.
Yeah.
So if you want to check out our reviews on those, check those out. I think we both like Virtuosity. Johnny Mnemonic didn't hold up very well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Yeah, that was the first time. Yeah. That was the first time viewing for me. That was on my list of shame.
Obviously I mentioned Ready Player One. That's a big one. Lawnmower Man. That's a movie I've seen recently. Not sure it holds up, but it's kind of crazy. It's out there, and all that kind of stuff. Do I have one? Is the question.
Yeah, so we're both kind of looking at the same IMDb list.
Yeah, so there might be stuff that we missed and all that kind of stuff.
Let's see.
I thought I had one. Oh yeah. Mine's pretty easy. The choose. It's not a great movie, but the visuals and the way the online world's rendered is so cool that it just makes it up for me. And it's for me, it's Tron Legacy. I've seen the first Tron movie. Not a big fan of the first Tron movie. The logic and stuff also that renders them in Tron is definitely a leap of faith. But Tron Legacy, even though the story's not great, the music, the visual style, and everything is amazing. And so for me, that's like wins me over as like my favorite kind of virtual world, virtual reality movie. Like I'll just put on Tron Legacy just like for the visuals and the music alone.
Daft Punk,
man.
Daft Punk does the soundtrack.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this list, I mean, there's definitely there's some bangers on here, like the first Matrix.
Yeah,
first Matrix only. And I also like Tron Legacy, and I'm not a fan of Tron. A lot of these are movies that like I've seen. It's a one and done for me. I've seen them once. I haven't seen them since then. So my memory is a little bit hazy. Total Recall. I don't even remember what VR that has in it. Although I love Total Recall.
I think
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah. I don't know if it's VR to say, but I think it's like he's kind of in his own mind because, it's like is it real? Is it not really happening?
Is it live or is it Memorex?
Yep.
So if we're kind of limited to this list, if we're not limited to this list and we count Brain Scan, I mean, I'm gonna throw in a vote for Brain Scan. That's just a cheesy, fun movie with Edward Furlong. But I don't know. You don't consider that virtual reality, really. That's just like a CD-ROM that he puts in. But it kind of takes over his reality, right? I mean, because it makes him believe that things are happening. So I'll say that. But if we're sticking to this list, of which there's like 25 or 30 or so 35 movies on here, obviously Matrix is amazing. But I'll just call out. I don't know if this is my favorite kind of virtual reality movie, but I will call out this movie, Dark City.
Dark City's a great movie.
Yeah, Dark City. I mean, it's one of those movies that came out actually a year before the first Matrix, but people are not as aware of Dark City as they are of the Matrix. And it's a really cool. It's been a long time since I've seen it, admittedly, but I remember seeing it vividly and really liking it.
I
It
think
sounds
it's-
like you like it. So
I love it. It's
we're-
Alex Proyas, I think, is the director
Yeah,
of the movie.
I believe you're correct.
It is very cool. Kiefer Sutherland. I don't know if it's necessarily a virtual reality movie,
Yeah.
but I like it. It's very cool. Very, very moody, very vibey, I guess, as the kids say these days.
Yeah. I need to revisit it, honestly. But I feel like if you are a fan of movies like The Matrix and you haven't seen something like Dark City, I'm telling you to go watch it.
Yeah, please do. All right. Well, that was our viewers' questions. Our favorite movies that feature VR or VR in movies. Let us know what your favorites are. Again, we kind of used a list as our crutch for this one, so there might have been ones we missed. So let us know which ones are your favorite. Maybe it's one we haven't
Do
seen.
you like Brain Scan?
And do you like Brain Scan?
The real litmus test.
The answer is yes, of course.
Yes.
Of course. And all that kind of stuff. You shoot us your viewers' questions at Real Shame, REL Shame at gmail.com. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that social media stuff. It really helps spread the word of the show, and we really do appreciate it. And stay tuned next week as we watch some movies from my list of shame. And we'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one. Bye.